Da 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 da. What's my good chair? Welcome, welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never met me before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. Today was a little bit, just a little bit. It was so cold outside. If you don't know, I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And it has been a slow start into spring. It has been teasing us a little bit. And today I woke up and yeah, the ground is covered with snow again and it's solidly there. And tomorrow's going to be another day in the minuses, so it's going to be here all day tomorrow. And it just started snowing. And when I looked at the Weather Channel, it looks like it's going to be snowing all night. I love winter. I actually prefer the cold more than I like the heat because there's only so much clothes you can take off when it's really, really hot. And if you know anything about this part of Canada, it gets super hot in the wintertime. But, or sorry, in the summertime. But in the wintertime, it is beautiful. And I do love winter. But when it does that little bit of teasing in that back and forth, it plays a little bit with your mentality, right? Because we're done. We're done with the winter, right? And as much as we like the season, it does have to come to an end because spring, and we talked about it earlier this week, spring is a new beginning when it teases us like that, when it gives us that little bit of a taste of it. Like I was actually outside not 2 days ago. I went for a nice long walk to get a cup of coffee and I had my coat off. I was without my coat. And today, oh my goodness, I was bundled up just like it was the middle of winter. That's how cold it was. I only went to the grocery store, but I did feel it, and I just didn't feel it physically. I felt it mentally, not emotionally, because I know spring is coming, right? I'm watching the Weather Channel. I know this is the last couple of days for sure. I know I said that last week, but in that teasing, that's the thing. It gets to us in our mentality because we are so looking for this new, well, the renewal, something brand new, something different to look forward to be able to get outside. Like I said, I went for a walk 2 days ago and the weather was just absolutely amazing. And I had my coat off. I enjoyed my walk tremendously. And then to wake up with the snow again, right? It played a trick on me, right? And I think it's that idea not to count your chickens before they hatch. That's the idea because we do that. We get ourselves all pumped up about something. We get ourselves all pumped up and excited about something just working out to the T. And then, right, we have that little bit of a crash. Sometimes we fall flat on our face. Sometimes, right, we go through the floor. Sometimes we invest in something and we lose our money. And those are the teases. And it always happens in new beginnings, right before the breakthrough, right before things start opening up for you and the sun starts shining and you start really feeling good. But that's that negativity, that's that unsuredness. And that's meant to be there to trip you up, to give you that little bit of, right, cautiousness to say, hey, right, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't get your hopes up because it can just as easily be dashed in a second, right? And so, if you can, we had this word gratefulness yesterday, right? If we can just be grateful for what we have in the moment, you know, I am kind of grateful because I was out of commission for the past couple of weeks. And usually by the middle of March, we're in spring. The snow is gone. You know, maybe every third day it's really beautiful out there where you don't have to wear a jacket. And it has been consistently cold and miserable. And like I said, just a couple of days ago was just like our really first really beautiful day where I was actually able to get out and about in a little bit. And it felt amazing. And I was excited for spring. But I recognized that this morning, that in my mentality, not my emotionality. I know spring's coming. I'm looking forward to it. But in my mentality, it just kind of just, oh, really? Right? Really? But then I thought about it. And I says, well, you know what? Usually in the middle of March, spring is here, right? Like I said, we have some really nice days and I'm already out and about and riding my bike and in my new beginnings. But remember, for the past 2 weeks, I was kind of out of commission. Now, can you imagine how I really truly would have felt if we were in spring and I was, right, out of commission, that I really would have done a job of myself in my mentality because I'd be looking out the window going, why see me? Right? I want to be out there. And maybe I would have overextended myself, right? Because I purposely put a limit on my physicality because I wanted to make sure that I recouped, that I regrouped myself so that I wouldn't have issues going into spring and summer. So I'm kind of grateful that it has been, and looking at it because sometimes we look at the things that kind of go a little bit haywire in our lives and we look at it like life is against us, right? Life is against me, right? Oh, woe-see me. And again, that plays havoc in our mentality, right? It does. And when you are down out for the count, right, there is that little pity party that can surface in that. And I didn't have that in the past 2 weeks. I didn't have that because, sure, I was out of commission. And it's not like misery loves company. It might look like that, but it's not. But the weather's miserable. I've got no say in what Mother Nature is going to do, right? And so everybody was in the same boat as I was. And even though my voices were kind of physical, right? And kind of overextending myself, other people were in their own throes, right? And this week, in those little anticipations, right? Because, like I said, it's been little tug of war, little teases in the weather going on. And so, when you have one day where it's all sunny and things are melting and everything, you get kind of pumped. And in getting pumped, well, I got the spring closet switched over. If I knew that the weather was going to look like this today, I certainly wouldn't have gotten that done, right? And then it got cold again. And right, it is what it is. Might as well just stay in and get little chores done here. And then the next day, it's sunny again and things are melting again. And I went, oh my goodness. And I looked at my weather channel and it said, oh, it's going to be, right, almost room temperature this week, which for us is around uh, 20 degrees Celsius, right? 20 degrees Celsius room temperature. And I says, well, I better get my uh, air conditioner set up so that when we have these nice hot days, because we're going into spring now, I might as well get that all sorted. So I spent the whole afternoon, right, setting it up. It's one of those big upright air conditioners, right? So you got to set up the window and you got to make sure everything's airtight. And I went slow. I took a couple hours in the afternoon to get it, and I yanked out the air conditioner and got it set up. So all I have to do is stick the hose into the hole in the window and push a button. It's done. But then again, I'm looking out the window today and we got snow again, right? But next week it's going to be beautiful. We technically, it says we have one more day of minus temperatures. And those minus temperatures only like -1, -2, which is nothing. We're right, we're Manitobans. That's almost like spring in itself. And that's enough to get things starting to melt. And then as we get into the weekend, well, we're back into that beautiful, beautiful, like room temperature weather where it's going to be sunny and it's going to be warm, and that snow will be gone in just a couple of days and we won't see it again. But not only that, in those little teases that we had, right? I got my spring closet, and if you guys know the kind of clothes that I switch over, like I've got huge, great big Tupperware or Rubbermaid containers full of winter clothes, and switching over my summer. It's a big project because everything's wrinkled from being all tightly rolled and everything. Everything has to be rewashed and refreshed and hung up, and I have to decide what I want to keep and what I want to donate and what I want to give to my sisters. And that stuff's all done. The air conditioner is done, right? I even washed my Keen boots, right? Because I want to keep them in good shape. And then I sprayed them with the leather guard and everything so they're all ready for next year, right? And that stuff is all done. And that makes it that I'm kind of taking care of myself now because I'm home anyway, right? Take care of myself now. And as we roll into spring, all those chores that I would normally be doing in preparation for spring and summer coming up, they're done. They're taken care of. And who's to say what opportunities, what beautiful things could come into my life in that time? And I won't be saying no to them. Oh, sorry, I said today I was going to switch my closet out, or sorry, I can't do this, because I'm in the project of putting my air conditioner in. I said I was going to do it today. I got to do it today because tomorrow it's going to be like 20 degrees outside. It's all done, right? It's in that preparation. And we look at these kind of mishaps and these inconveniencies and these little things that we don't appreciate and go, "Woisy me." But if you actually sit in it for a minute, they're lessons, right? They are lessons. And I've come to appreciate these hiccups in my life. It's not, like I said the other day, it's not like I'm saying, "More, please," right? Throw me more wrenches and stuff. But it's the idea that, when things don't go my way, right? When things don't go in a way that I would appreciate, that I'm optimistic and looking forward to, that I can look at them going, okay, well, there's something to be had out of this for sure. For sure there is. It was just like last week when I switched over my brand into its own Chrome and I just like, oh my goodness, this is so technical, right? Like I'm not technically inclined that way. And yet, in going into my settings in Google and going into my settings on YouTube and going into my settings in Windows and playing around in them and going into my security and into my personal data and going into my different features. Oh my goodness, the things I stumbled onto that served me and will serve me so well, right? I had that opportunity to go in there and play around a little bit and learn. And especially as somebody who is not technically inclined, to appreciate that I could do that. Okay, maybe I know a little bit more than some people, right? But I know a lot less than a lot of people. And that's a truth too. And because in this moment, I'm in it on my own, right? And I don't give up, right? My brand is everything to me. It's the one thing in my life that is all mine, that nobody in this moment has a say in it. So it's in my stumbling, it is in my little bit of pushing buttons and experimenting and see if I'm going to blow something up and then be all proud of myself that I figured something out, that I can actually recognize that I can do this, that I can do this. And that's something we should appreciate. Lots of times we look at things and say, oh my goodness, I can't do that. Not in a million years can I do that. Well, how do you know unless you actually try, right? How do you know unless you put one foot in front of the other and try? And the thing is, a lot of what I learn, I'm Googling it. I'm using Gemini. I'm using those resources that are so freely out there, right? You pay your bill, your internet bill every month. Why are you not utilizing it, right? I'm looking at reviews on different RVs because I want to be an RVer in my retirement, right? So I'm looking at RVs. What you think about is realized. So obviously, I don't have $100,000 for an RV, but I have to keep it in top of mind, don't I? So I am watching videos and I am learning it, and I'm becoming a little bit of an expert because I'm looking at these professional reviewers, right? They do this for a living. This is their YouTube channel. Is that's what they do. They go to different RV lots and they'll review, and they go to conventions and stuff, and they'll go in and they will film and they will review these motorhomes and RVs and trailers, right? And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I am learning so much by paying attention, right? Focusing on what I would like to do and deciding what kind of features I would like, what I would appreciate, what would work for me, right? And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I can do what they're doing. Like I can, right? Because we have RV lots here in this city. What's stopping me from going to apply in one of those and maybe just work on weekends or something? But if I'm a salesperson in selling RVs, right? And I've learned in the experiences and studying the RVs, like I've got a list of my favorite RVs here and all their features and stuff that I appreciate. Why can't I do the same? And if I do that, not as a reviewer, right? Not, I could do it as a reviewer, just, right? Add something else to my brand, right? And what do we got? We got the urban exploring, we got the back road exploring, we got the bushcraft videos, we have my podcasts, we have my provincial park tours that I do. We got the walk with me, Cindy Jeans. Why can't we have the RV reviews? I could add that on too. It's part of exploring the inside and the outside, right? But I'm thinking, wow, if I could make a commission, right, in selling a few RVs, maybe it would be enough to pay for an RV, right? Because I would suspect the commission on selling an RV, especially when they're like $100,000, it would be like selling a house, wouldn't it? Right? This is what I'm thinking. So I'm waiting for this nice weather to melt the snow. And then I'm going to go off and see if maybe that might be something I might be interested in doing, right? It's keeping myself open and be willing to expand in what I want for my future, right? And being the person I am, and especially when change comes at me like on a daily basis, what I want from one moment to the next, right? Nothing is compacted, nothing is crazy glued in place because I understand that I explore the inside as much as I explore the outside. And I want to make sure that exploring the inside and the outside is a good mesh. And I'm grateful in this process, right, of learning as I go, right, and loving what I do and taking my time, not rushing into things, but being consistent in what I do, that I'm making that movement. And, it might not always look like, right, that I am successful in what I do. But I have to remember this is process for me above anything else. This is the example for myself above anything else. And in the residue of that, I get to be the example for others, right? That it doesn't have to be hairy scary. It doesn't have to be 1,000 miles an hour. It doesn't have to be a ton of different subjects all mishmashed together, but it could just be a few. And it can be in my passions and in my pain and in my frustration and in the wrenches that come into my life. Why? Because they all offer up lessons. It's true. They all offer. And just look at your day today. Just look at your day today. You could be sitting on the couch right now going, oh, I'm so glad this day is over. Oh, it was such a terrible day. It was such a terrible day. Oh, I'm so grab myself a cup of coffee, flop myself on the couch in my pajamas, grab the remote control, and just space out. Just literally space out. Or you could get yourself a cup of coffee, pull yourself up to the kitchen table, enjoy your coffee, look out the window, right? And just go into yourself and look at your day. Feel out your day. Look at those problems that came into your day. Look at the good things that came into your day and appreciate them for what they are, lessons, right? Lessons. I really do. I appreciate. Hello, Eugene. I'm doing good tonight. Thank you for popping in. Thank you so much for popping in. And I always appreciate that you give me that thumbs up there. That's always so sweet. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so never worry, like, I had a couple of little worries on my back the way, I don't always bring it to my brand, right? Because nobody wants to hear other people's problems when they're dealing with their own problems, right? Lots of times these problems are for ourselves to work through, right? To deal with, to endure. And that's the truth too. But to have things open up for myself and I go, no matter what, everything is going to be okay, right? In the moment, it might not be magnificent. Right now, it might even be super crappy. But even the super crappy cannot last forever, right? Maybe it's just your favorite kid knocking on your door, coming to visit. Maybe your grandkids are coming over. Maybe you get invited to a party, right? Maybe you get that great job offer. It takes 1 second. We think just life is terrible, but in 1 second, your life could turn around and it could be so much better, and it could take all your worries in the moment away from you. And sometimes that's all we need, is the worries to be lifted off of us for just a few minutes so that we can look out the window and going, well, there's a foot of snow on the ground, right? I'm stuck in the house, but I'm not the only one stuck in the house. What can I get done? What can I do now to get me a little bit ahead of the game so that when it is beautiful outside, that I'm not going to be tied up with these little chores that I could have done, right? Well, that snow was on the ground, and that's something that I can appreciate, is getting a little bit ahead of myself. And I can appreciate also in gratefulness, because that was a lesson that I learned. He's a recent person that I have subscribed to, and that was a lesson that he put out there, is you have to think of that future self. You have to think of that person next week, next month, next year. What can you do now to kind of clear that path, right? For that person. It's like it's like when you let your bills stack up for a couple of months. And you know what it feels like when you fall behind in your bills. So grateful in this moment. I'm on top of my bills. Like, I couldn't imagine, having that little bit of noisy me going on, and then also have the worry that, oh my goodness, I'm getting messages to pay my bills. How am I going to pay my bills? Right? That you clear that path. You take care of those little things that can wear you down, that can stress you out. And when I got that message, we're not perfect, right? We're not. It's like two step forwards, three steps back. Lots of times it's like that. But if we can appreciate and understand that one lesson that this gentleman put out there, to just clear the path, that it helps so much. It's like being a good friend to yourself. And we had that word a couple of weeks ago, 5 times in 1 week, right? Companionship. And that's the idea, to be a good companion to yourself. Yeah. Hello, Tammy. Hello, Tammy. I hope your night is going good tonight. Hope we were just talking about how it just went all kind of miserable outside again. That snow is a teaser this year for sure. One day nice, next day cold, foot of snow, then it melts the next day. I woke up this morning, the snow was all over the ground, and it didn't go anywhere today. It kind of stuck around. It didn't get out of the minuses today. Tomorrow also is supposed to stay in the minuses, and tonight it's supposed to snow all night. So I'm prepping myself in my mentality not to be surprised in the morning when I wake up to see even more snow on the ground. But appreciate that in the next few days, spring is truly here. And also in those teases, when I went for the walk the other day, everybody was out in their yard cleaning up frozen dog poop, which is absolutely amazing because you're supposed to try and catch it while it's frozen, right? You don't want to catch it when it's all thawed out and stuff, right? It's easier to get rid of, pick up and throw, not with your bare hands, but you take your doggy bags out there and you clean up the whole yard. That's taking care of your future self, right? And getting that cleared up, you don't have to worry about it. And then when that nice weather comes, you can go for a walk, right? Just clean it up as you go. Here in Winnipeg, we get a lot of people that, right, they let it accumulate over winter because the dogs don't want to go out there at 40 below zero, right? They just want to get out into the yard real quick and then right back into the nice warm house. People do take their walks regularly for or take their dogs for walks regularly, but not very long walks, right? And it's really cute here in Manitoba because all the dogs wear coats and they all wear the little dog boots, right? Just to keep their feet warm and stuff. So the dogs are really dressed up pretty cute here in Manitoba. But there were a lot of people out in their yards cleaning it up. And I remember I was just talking about this yesterday, right? And then when I went out for my walk, and yeah, everybody was out in the yard. I even saw a couple of you people out in the yards, and they were getting their yards ready for the gardening. They were pulling out all the dried up perennials and stuff that didn't make it through winter and getting things ready. Right? They weren't turning the ground yet. It's still permafrost. The ground is still permafrost, but they were able to get their weeds out and their gardens all set up. So it just makes it so it's a funner process. They got the hard work done, right? In taking care of their future self. Yeah. So look at it that way. Look at it that way. Okay, you guys. Well, I am late because we had a friend pass away. Oh my goodness, Tammy, don't stay. Right? Go. Right? If you want to be on the phone and talk to your friends, Tammy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss, right? But beautiful that you spent some time with the family. I'm assuming you were with your family or just taking care of everybody's emotionalities on the phone. Oh, Tammy, I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, right, don't feel you need to be here. We had this conversation yesterday. Oh my goodness. Right? Oh, right at spring too. I'm so sorry to hear that, Tammy. I hope things, you know, move along emotionally. Beautiful, Tammy. I think that's absolutely beautiful. Don't wear yourself out too thin. Make sure you're taking care of yourself too, right? It's important. But I know what it's like sometimes to overextend yourself, but right? Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Okay, you guys. I'm so sorry to hear that, Tammy. If you wanna call it a night, we're just going to go into a card for a few minutes here, Tammy. Feel feel bad for you. You just always seem so busy in your life. And not only just busy in your life, but busy helping other people in their lives too. It's a beautiful thing, but right, I just hope you're not overextending yourself, Tammy. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Okay, you guys, let's grab a card. Maybe it'll be pertinent to the conversation. Maybe it won't be, but courage. Courage is trusting yourself more than the doubt in the moment. Whether it ties in a little bit to our conversation, it doesn't take courage. Sometimes it just takes the endurance. Sometimes it just takes patience, right? Sometimes it's just knowing that, the crappy times can't last forever. As bad as it is right now, that in the next moment it could be better. And it's just having that courage to trust, right? Courage is trusting yourself more than the doubt in the moment, right? It is, you look at the moment and you go, oh my goodness, how am I ever going to get out of this? Right? I felt that way. I felt that way yesterday. This morning, I was optimistic but nervous in that. And then by afternoon, it had resolved itself. And I didn't even have to put that work into it. But you know what? I did have to trust that everything was going to be okay. And sometimes you have to have that courage, especially when things don't look good. When you just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, when things wear down on us, that heaviness. You look out that window and you go, oh my goodness, is winter ever going to be over? I don't think I can take any more of this, right? And it's just that courage to trust yourself, right? More than the doubt in the moment. And that's so true, right? Courage is just putting one foot in front of another, even in that unsureness, right? And that takes courage sometimes because sometimes you're taking that one foot forward and you're doing it in the dark. You're doing it without knowing you've got a good footing in any way. And that's when you just have to have that trust in yourself, right? You just have to believe that everything is going to be okay as long as I don't stop, as long as I keep going, as long as I don't, right, give up on myself or give up on others because we can be the example, like Tammy today, being the example for others. And probably she was aching, probably she was exhausted, probably she was hurt herself in that. But just having the courage to say, you know what, people out there need me. And I'm just going to put that one foot forward. I don't know if I have the strength to do it, but I'm just going to trust in myself. And I'm going to trust in something higher that if I can't do it by myself, something will come up behind me and lift me up and push me forward to help me accomplish in what I need to get done, right? And it's important to trust yourself, right? More than the doubt in the moment. And that's 100% said true. It was a lesson that I learned today. It was a little lesson. Thank goodness. It wasn't a lesson like Tammy had today, right? But my maybe my lessons tomorrow, maybe my lesson was in the past 10 years of my life, right? Maybe it's in the next 10 years of my life. But whatever it is, I have to trust in myself that no matter what, I'm not going to give up. And even if that is only in a baby step, and even if I take 2 steps forward and I find myself 3 steps backwards, right? I'm just going to keep going because eventually I'm going to take 2 steps forward and I'm going to find myself 3 steps ahead. right? Because I didn't have the courage, or I did have the courage not to quit on myself or to quit on others. Okay, you guys. I'm so sorry for your friend. I hope everybody is going to feel better, right? Not to weigh heavy for a great length of time. I understand, right? It's talking, right? It's crying, and it's time. And each one of us, right, knows only for ourselves how much time each one of those is going to take. But eventually, if we just keep moving forward, if we just have the courage not to give up, right, we'll come out of it. We'll see that light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, you guys. That's it for me tonight. It's Friday. Tomorrow I don't go live. I don't come online at all on Saturdays. Sunday I will be back if you guys want to come and hang out with me. It's a good time, and it's my Chatters Live, and I call it Chatters Live because the people who hang out with me on Sunday nights chat more than I do. Even I have a hard time keeping up in that conversation, but I include myself in that conversation too, right? So you guys are more than welcome to come in and hang out with us on Sunday night. If you don't, maybe we'll see you on Monday because I will be back. I do What's My Good Cheer Monday to Friday, and you guys are all welcome. You guys have a great night.